Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Talk Today is brought to you each Tuesday from 12:15 until 2:30 p.m. by Caribbean Alliance Insurance Company Limited. Whether it's home, property, business, motor, travel, or personal coverage, protect your lifestyle with the Caribbean Alliance Insurance Company. Visit them in Alyssa Towers or call 949-9744.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
In answer to his question about the subjects.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Oh, what a compliment. For that, I thank you.
What is happening now? There are hopeless and hungry.
Now it's time for us to stand up to God or we fall to nothing.
It's time now for Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Listening to the general public, what the public is saying.
Good afternoon and welcome to Talk Today. My name is Art Connor and I'm filling in for Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. In this segment of the show this afternoon, we will be talking about an extremely important institution in the Cayman Islands. That institution is celebrating 35 years of existence in the Cayman Islands. The conversation will take place with representatives, Miss Ken Voden and Mrs. Julie Wells Candler. And now, the secret, we will be talking about the Cayman Islands Sunrise Adult Training Center. And before I introduce my guests, I will tell you and introduce you to the role that the Sunrise Training Center plays in our community. And if you want to visit their website, you can do so as well and get additional information other than what will be shared with you today. So the purpose, they say that their purpose is to educate, support and serve, promoting therapy and employment opportunities to adults with additional learning needs to enable their empowerment and maximize their independence, potential, and quality of life. At the Sunrise Adult Training Center, their clients can explore their full potential and develop confidence, skills, and pride in their efforts and their accomplishments. So, ladies, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to Talk Today.
Thank you for having us.
And I'm going to ask you first by tell us the role that both of you play in such an important organization in our community.
Thank you so much for having us. My name is Kim, and I'm so pleased to be here this afternoon. I'm the director at the Sunrise Adult Training Center, and I believe that really that's a special role from many aspects, in that really it's my job to make other people's dreams and plans for the future come true at the client's level, their family's level, at our organizational's level, just making sure that we can work for the betterment and inclusion of all of our clients at every single level, whether that's at policy and legislation or even down to practical things like looking at their homes and supporting work in the community to make sure that they're able to access the entire community and to be as included as possible, whether it's in employment or whether that's in initiatives such as the Duke of Edinburgh program, for example. You name it, when it comes to life, if we can work towards inclusion and improving quality of life, as your description, as you read out our description, that's my job. And I'm pleased to have with me today Miss Julie Candler. She is our longest serving member of staff, actually, and it's a real honor to be on the radio with her this afternoon.
Okay, Miss Julie, welcome. Thanks for being here. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you. Well, as said, my name is Julie Wells Candler. Some people refer to me as K. Wells. My main role at Sunrise is arts and craft. Some people may have seen some of our work at our spring concert, our Christmas concert. And at some time ago, we used to have a stall at Cayman Bay Market.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that's not there now. Hopefully, we get back into the future there. So. But besides that, I do a little bit of everything at Sunrise. So, just like everybody else. Yeah, just like everybody else, you know. We jack of all trades down there. We don't just stick to one corner of that building. We involve in everything.
Okay. So 35 years. Tell us about the beginning of Sunrise.
35 years is early innings, right, Mr. Wilsey? It's just getting started.
Yes.
Actually, for this portion of it, I would be excited actually to have Miss Julie's take on this, on the early days of Sunrise, because she has lived it and can certainly walk the talk.
Sure.
She's there from the beginning.
Well, that one became quite difficult. Now, I wasn't there actually at Sunrise when it started. Okay, my day started at Lighthouse School.
Okay.
But it was with the same clients that started Sunrise also. Right. They also started Lighthouse School. And a little bit of history. And when they got to the age that, how to put this, I guess, at the time we didn't really know what kind of program to have for those clients at the age that they were.
Yes.
Then Sunrise Center was born.
Right.
And that go back to like Miss Bassidio, Miss Seymour days. Sunrise Center was born.
And at that time that was all part of the education program as well.
Yep, at the time, yes.
Okay.
So.
Correct. Yeah, Sunrise Center definitely was born out of a need to continue to serve our families after aging out of Lighthouse School and the special education initiative, which had started with a group of families primarily from West Bay. So it's been a West Bay institution for the longest time. But the reality is of course, as we've grown as a nation and grown as a people, a population, then we need to serve the needs of people from all three islands and all over Grand Cayman in particular. So, speaking to the future and looking forward to a bright one, certainly the move to a more central location and purpose-built facility is definitely in our minds and hearts, and we're grateful to know that it's endorsed by and supported by our ministry. So we look for good announcements and good movements in the days and months to come. So, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And can you give us a little bit of information about your new, the proposed new home?
Well, we getting into all kinds of things.
Oh, yes. On here you do. Sometimes secrets come out as well.
No, certainly the understanding is that we need to be in a central location so that we're able to serve, as I said, all districts. And really the demographics of our families have changed over the years as well. as I mentioned, even looking at future planning for the next 10, 15 years, the majority of people are coming from certainly a more central location and further, into the eastern district. So being in a central location is going to be key, and we need to have enough space to do all that we need to do. So currently at the Sunrise Centre, we run a variety of workshops, including a horticultural workshop, and as Ms. Julie mentioned, an arts and crafts workshop. We also have a need as a nation for things like a truly accessible hurricane shelter. And we, as she also mentioned, put on plays several times a year. And so we need a multi-purpose hall and a hub for families to be able to come to get resources. And we look forward to increased interaction with the public and growth of small businesses or enterprises that our clients can run. Can take part in at every single level. So beyond that, we certainly are looking for a central Georgetown or thereabouts location, and a much larger space. We also have a waiting list, of course, and so we need expansion, and we definitely have a good feeling that we have good endorsement from our ministry in terms of putting that forward.
Can you speak a little bit more about the waiting list?
The waiting list is long and unfortunate, because really, we are no different than any other country in the world in terms of the prevalence and incidence of persons with special needs. Right. And when you really think about it in terms of disability as something that we deal with as a human race, right now there's 1 billion people with disabilities on the planet, and certainly we have our share of those here in Cayman, and we have made massive strides in the last 10 years in coming along in terms of integration and inclusion, but we have a long way to go. So, and that's not said to put anybody down. It's just a reality of the fact, yes, So in terms of our waiting list, as Ms. Julie mentioned, of course, Sunrise kind of grew as a necessary response to an existing issue, which was that we had people that had graduated from Lighthouse School but still needed help. And so we've kind of rolled along and tried to expand as best as possible. And where we are now on Powery Road is not our first location, and maybe in a minute Ms. Julie can speak to the earlier locations of Sunrise, but certainly it cannot be our last location. And we have outgrown our current facility for a number of years now. So right now and especially of course with the pandemic impacting everything, then our ability to serve people on a daily basis, a weekly basis, is further impacted. Yes. So our wait list at last count, which I need to go back now and recount, we're into a census year, so I guess I should go back and do all that again. But it was certainly over 75 at the last count. Wow. And of course, every single year that the next cohort of graduation happens at Lighthouse, and more children are added, more young people are added to that list. And I would also hasten to say that whilst that is one of our major sources of referrals, that certainly is not the only one. Of course, we serve any young adult or adult with any sort of special needs from 18 plus, and so there are many, and that can be persons who have gone through normal government school, private schools, from the community. We've had people that have realized into their adult years, my goodness, I really think I've actually I could benefit from the extra support, and I do have a diagnosis that maybe I just found out about, for example, or maybe have acquired a disability along the way, because of course disability is not just congenital. It can happen to any one of us at any point in time. So yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, I want you to talk about the fact that you have now been brought under the remit of a new ministry within government, and what your feelings are about that. And I know both of you as civil servants can't say a whole lot, but I will continue to stress during the course of the show the need for this facility. With the numbers the way they are and the numbers increasing, there is an urgent need for it, and that should be on way up top of the government's priority list in terms of what to do.
And we'll be delighted to talk about that.
Certainly. So folks, please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
Freedom, Cayman Rack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
What do you do if you have to go to a shelter? To help you safely prepare, evacuate, and shelter while protecting yourself and others from COVID-19 this hurricane season, here's some tips from the Public Health Department. If you must go to a shelter, be ready to protect yourself and others. Practice social distancing of at least 6 feet from others. Follow public health's preventative actions. Wash your hands with soap and water, often if possible, or use hand sanitizer, cover coughs and sneezes, and wear masks or cloth face coverings. Get your COVID-19 vaccine when eligible. Avoid sharing food and drink with anyone. For more guidance to update your emergency hurricane plans due to coronavirus, visit www.caymanprepared.gov.ky. This message is brought to you by the Public Health Department in partnership with the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Study local and go far this spring. Want to start your bachelor's or associate degree or just need a few classes to complete? Registration is now open for spring classes at UCCI. Scholarships are available for the spring semester, but you need to act now to meet the deadlines. Visit www.ucci.edu.ky to enroll now. Classes begin January 10th. Enroll by December 1st for a chance to win an iPad or a laptop.
Here's where you can get your Rotary Central Music Extravaganza tickets to win $40,000 and more. Rotary members, authorized ticket sellers, eventpro.ky, A.L. Thompson's Home Depot, Funky Tanks, Rubis, Walker's Road. Here is where your support for Rotary Central Music Extravaganza works for our community. $50,000 committed to Loud Silent Voices, a mental health service, a Rotary Central signature project. The Lightning Cleanup Brigade at the Botanical Park after Tropical Storm Grace. $5,000 in support for the Cayman Islands Crisis Center. Support for the Bridge Foundation Halfway House. Supporting Bicycles for the Needy. Supporting the Cayman Islands National Disaster Fund. Rotary Music Extravaganza Community Service at its best. Funding over 70 projects since 1995. Rotary Central, Cayman Islands, registered not-for-profit number 232. Rotary Central, serve to change lives.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. We're discussing the 35th anniversary of the formation or the introduction of the Sunrise Adult Training Center here in the Cayman Islands. That discussion has taken place with Miss Kim Voden. You're the director now, right?
Yes, sir.
Of Sunrise Adult Training Center. And Jane of all trades. We can't say Jack. We'll say Jane of all trades.
The Julie of all trades.
or Julie of all trades, yes. Miss Julie Wells Candler. We're talking about the Adult Center. And I want to say to our listening and viewing audience, if you want to join in the conversation, if you have any questions, or comments, or observations, you can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 8037-949-6990. WhatsApp us 925-3261 as well. So, ladies, you are now under a new ministry. Tell us about that.
That's right. Yeah, no, it's been an excellent transition. We're grateful for the insight and commitment and support that we are receiving from our Ministry of Social Development, or MISTI for short, Investment, Innovation and Social Development. So we fall under the Honourable Andre Ebanks, and he's of course a West Bay boy from the get-go, so he's known about many of the people that are at Sunrise his whole life. But more importantly, we know that he also has a heart for social development for many years as well, and so we're grateful for his leadership and support, as well as the rest of the senior management team. We have an excellent chief officer, Mr. Eric Bush, Ms. Andrea Famoy, our deputy chief, and I mean, the list goes on. We're just grateful to be a part of a good team that has already shown that they are hitting the ground running with us. So, as we have prepared for, or continue to prepare for, not just today, but the entire month's worth of celebrations, we've got our new website, which you've mentioned, which is live now. Yes. And we also have some other good treats coming up. We have a day of celebration on Wednesday coming at the centre, and we look forward to a visit from our minister and other senior leadership team at that point in time at the centre. We know that throughout the course of this month, we will be celebrating our employment partners and sharing with public lots of 35 ways to help, 35 ways to share, 35 ways to support, or 35 great things that we can share about our clients and all of our adventures at the center.
Okay.
So lots to come.
For the benefit of our audience, again, the location of the center now, where is it?
Well, it's down in the wonderful district of West Bay. And it's 181 Powery Road, West Bay, very close to the Ristorante Papagallo.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Down country.
If we can look at some of the developments and the timeline for the Sunrise Adult Training Center that opened up in 1986 with $34,000 in private donations, and 9 individuals from West Bay who had graduated from the Lighthouse Training School as well.
Yes.
And then in 1988, the center opened a shop in the government craft market as well. Then 1990, 14 clients and 5 staff members. At that time, I think the director was Roberta Gordon.
Yeah.
Yep. 2006, 47 clients between the ages of 17 and 52. 2009, 58 clients.
Yeah.
And then 2011, you had your 25th anniversary. At that time, there were 57 clients and 17 staff members. Miss Shari Smith was the director at that time. And, of course, in 2017, you, Miss Voden, became the director, and you currently now have 59 clients and 22 staff members as well.
22 wonderful members of the team. And I would like to just say that, of course, anything that we're able to do now is building on the legacy of all the work that's gone in over the years. So it certainly is not an overnight blossoming, but it's a marathon, and it's a long road of ideas and heart that has gone into making Sunrise what it is, and we have the dreams of everybody pushing it forward to what it can be going forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you have developed many working relationships with a lot of individuals and entities. So could we talk a little bit about those as well?
Sure, definitely. Yeah.
Can we go back? You mentioned
sure, Ms. Julie.
the craft marketing.
Yes.
And that was very important at that time, because it was also a place that we took. Each one was staff. When I started there, they already had the shop, the little craft shop. Each one was staff, had a day of the week that we tended to that shop. and 95% of the time you took a client with us. They might be able to help stack, or just to be out there.
Yes,
to
be involved.
To be
Miss Julie, was that one of the
social.
first instances of like real community inclusion then that the center had initiated?
Well, I would say so from the time that I went there yet, one thing.
So from humble beginnings grow a lot of things, so.
And things in there too that was being sold. Some of the stuff was also being made at the center at that time. Not as big and as, I guess, fancy as some of the stuff that we are doing now, but there were things in there. For example, just simple shells off the sea. We would go to the beach, collect shells, make sure that they're clean, and wrap them in fish netting. And you'd be surprised how they sold tours and stuff. Yes.
Wow. Yeah. And you said that was the last place that was located was at the Cayman Bay?
No, that was out.
The original one was
the market. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yes. Sorry.
Once they got rid of that little small building, then the shop.
More recently, Miss Josie, we have had a stall at the Cayman Bay Farmers and Artisans Market, and so, of course, COVID and everything has impacted that. But we still do have consignment sales happening at the Savannah Healthcare Pharmacy. And we also do make and sell items, and sometimes even bespoke items. We do lots of coasters and lots of other artwork. Miss Julie and Miss Twyla down in the Arts and Crafts department are phenomenal, and there's nothing really that is, the sky's the limit, and they have great imaginations, and they're able to match projects with the clients. We also have actually a client, she was on Talk Today just a couple of weeks ago. Her name is Miss Vanita Ebanks, and she is a wonderful lady, and she actually is visually impaired, and she makes the old traditional rag rugs that, the scrap rugs that were with the crocus sack and scrap cloth, and she makes it all by touch. So she's phenomenal in her work.
She trades door needle by herself. Some people won't believe it, but she
does everything herself.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
I mean, we speak like this and we say how amazing our clients are, and they are. And I think that's the point that I want everybody to remember and to know, is that every single one of our clients is phenomenal in their talents and their skills. And many people in the general public look at our center and think, well, what can those people do? And the reality is, what can't they? They can do anything. Anything that we put our minds to as people, we generally can do it, right? You think you can become it, you think you can do it.
People out there to give them a chance, right? They'll find out what they can do.
Yeah. So we have long-serving employees. You asked me earlier to talk about our employment partners.
Yes.
And we go right from helping people to figure out what they like to do, what they might like to do, because obviously our work is a large part of our identity and a large part of our life. And certainly if you're going to spend a long time every single day doing something, you want to make sure that it's something that you love.
Precisely,
right?
Yes.
So we work with our clients to help them identify their skills and the areas that they would like to work in. And we work to help them find internships, both unpaid but hopefully paid. And then we work to help them find paying jobs, and we are a full service team. So when it comes to assisting with all aspects of that employment, whether it's negotiation of contracts or setting up practical things like bank accounts, or assisting them with HR matters, or assisting them with changing jobs, or assisting them with even retirement planning. We've assisted several of our clients now to transition into retirement and to still lead happy and fulfilled lives. So I think as records go, I think Sunrise is knocking it for 6. And we always have room to grow, but I'm really proud of our vocational department and the opportunities that we are able to afford our clients.
Excellent. We're going to take another commercial break. When we return, I'd could we share some of these testimonials that you have received from various entities in the Cayman Islands? I think it would be good for the people to hear.
We'd be pleased to do that. We'd be pleased to have them shared. And also just to say that if anyone has a business and would have a spot for any of our clients, we certainly are consistently and constantly looking for additional employment partners.
Excellent. Folks, please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly. Okay.
Savannah Pharmacy. Shop local and get a head start on your Christmas shopping. For ladies' handbags, clothes, shoes, fragrance, candles, and cosmetics with the newest Farmhouse Fresh line of skincare. For the gentlemen, clothes, shoes, fragrances, gift sets, and toys and games for the kids. Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they are always just around the corner with everything your family needs. And convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
A friendly holiday reminder. You can WhatsApp your Savannah Pharmacy prescription to 929-5045. That's 929-5045.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointments.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
You see how hard it's raining?
Yeah, and I don't have time to fight traffic and get my lunch from Subway. I have so much work to do.
Why don't you order Subway by using the Let's Eat or Bento app? Save time, stay dry, and get your sandwich fast.
I never thought of that. Great idea. I'm going to order now.
Order me a veggie pizza while you're at it.
And a cookie platter for the office. Too busy at work or home? Is the rainy weather stopping you from dining out? Order your favorite Subway sandwich, wrap, or pizza through the Let's Eat or Bento app with fast and reliable delivery. Subway, eat fresh.
You can now register online to receive a securely verified digital copy of your COVID-19 vaccination status with QR code through the My HSA patient portal. Sign up is available online and at all HSA locations. All you need is your photo ID showing date of birth and an email address. Visit hsa.ky and click the My HSA patient portal icon to get started.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the 2021 Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vant Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new 2021 Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. My name is Art Connor and I'm filling in for Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me the director of the Sunrise Adult Training Center, Miss Kim Woden, and Miss Julie of all trades, Miss Julie Wells Candler. We're talking about the 35th anniversary of the Sunrise Adult Training Center, and we have several testimonials here. And I'd like to share some of them with you. This one is coming from Michelle Green, the owner and manager of Growing Beauty Nursery. And she says, over the years, the Sunrise Adult Training Center staff have been very supportive. We enjoy having someone from Sunrise working with us. He is hardworking, friendly, and helpful to our customers. At times, it can be challenging to understand their needs, but overall, it teaches us, all staff, to exercise patience and sometimes causes us to step aside and take a deep breath to regroup. Bottom line, though, they bring joy to our hearts. We think that persons with additional needs are wonderful people who should be given the same opportunity as we did. We also have one from Fareed, manager of Cafe Amazon. Cafe Amazon is pleased to partner with the Sunrise Adult Training Center to provide employment opportunities for people with special needs. We have had nothing but excellent staff join our organization from Sunrise. We also have one from Jonathan Nunes, the owner-operator of Tomfoolery, and he says, we were introduced to Sunrise Adult Training Center after already hiring one of their clients. The relationship we have with that staff member who utilizes their services has been nothing but positive. Their attention to their clients and willingness to invest time to ensure that they succeed in the workplace is humbling. Additionally, our own approach to managing has benefited by the example that the Sunrise representatives set. We've learned as managers from their actions and patience when guiding their clients and helping them to succeed without hampering their ability to achieve independently. We've seen a growth that staff members, that they have been faster and more earnest than a number of our other employees. Wow. That do not require Sunrise services. We wholeheartedly support Sunrise and are eager to entertain further placement. So again, we're going to use those testimonials to say to people if they're interested in partnering with Sunrise Adult Training Center. Ms. Kim, tell them what they need to do.
They need to give us a call at 949-3330. They can give me a call on my cell phone, 938-3330. They can drop us an email. I have a good old government email, so it's my first name, Kimberly, Kimberly, last name, Voaden, @gov.ky, and from there I can easily send it through to our vocational department. We currently have three wonderful people in our vocational program. Our coordinator is Mrs. Suzette Stewart, and two vocational program officers, Mrs. Donna Wilson Ramoon and also Miss Claire Capper as well. So, but as I said to you before the break, obviously we have 23 people out working in all different kinds of jobs, whether it's growing beauty in the plant industry or if it's in restaurants. We also have had people working and currently do actually in the Health Services Authority, National Roads Authority. We have people that have been working for many years in hospitality at the Ritz and other hotels, but
in
supermarkets as well. So, anywhere where we can find a match for our clients' talents and skills, we will work to support their inclusion and their full participation, their full contribution to the workplace as well. And I think that that's important for the general public to know, is that our guys, as I've said repeatedly, are fantastic. And it's not just that it's a charity position, it's that we know that our guys are able to contribute, and the testimonies speak to that they are valued members of the teams wherever they are employed. And we certainly are grateful for those testimonials. We put out the call asking some of our partners for a few nice words around our birthday, our anniversary, and we were humbled and delighted at all of the wonderful thoughts that have come back. So we're thankful to all of our
and you know the thing about that, getting to know our guys, our clients as we call them, my brothers and sisters, because kind of grew up with some of them, they never forget you.
Yes.
They never forget you, and they also, every one of them are so thankful. Sometimes it don't seem like they're thankful, but they are thankful for just seeing you some days, and for whatever you can help them with.
I think that's the delight for me and what drives me many days in terms of the joy that I find at work. It's the guys, as we call them, for sure. And I think that when, we all have a lot that weighs heavy on our shoulders at times, Mr. O.C. I think that the world is complex right now, and we all have stress. But certainly the way that our clients navigate through this world with grace and with gratefulness and with joy is a lesson for all of us. It's certainly inspiring, and it certainly drives my passion for making the center better forward every single day. And I see it also in the passion that our good staff put forward.
Certainly. And despite the time constraints and everything, I don't want to leave out anyone who provided testimonials, and I'll just mention the fact that we also have one from Chef Jen, who's the owner of Chef Greenhouse Cafe and Restaurant, also Kamana Bay Cinema. They provided one, as well. Kids Ability, also. The Health Services Authority, like you mentioned earlier, Ms. Julie, as well. And I mentioned Jonathan Nunes, owner and operator of Tomfoolery Kitchen and Bar as well.
We're grateful for all those partners. We certainly, like I said, keep saying can use more.
Okay. Paul, nothing from our 1 o'clock guest yet? Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to take it upon myself to invite these two young ladies here to stay on the show after 1 o'clock. This is extremely important. Plus, I want to tease out this whole thing about a new facility for them and what the needs are in terms of that facility. Does it have to be a ground floor operation? Will it be, if it's multi-story, will it be challenging to the occupants of it?
As long as you'll have us, Mr. OC, we're your ladies.
Oh, I'm going to talk about it. By the time we finish today, we're going to have not only the land, but we're going to have the foundation built before you leave here.
Sounds wonderful.
So, folks, please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
This week on The Flex, we'll be speaking with DJ Lyons, the UK Overseas Territories representative at this year's COP26 Climate Change Conference in Scotland.
We'll be discussing her experience as a speaker and contributor to this global event.
Also joining us is Dr. Celine Monasing from the Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resiliency. We will be getting her opinion on the fight against climate change in Cayman.
This show promises to be informative. Call in and join our discussion by dialing our toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. We look forward to hearing from you.
This is also the final show for Youth Flex Season of Joy, so we will be bidding a fond farewell to host Chanel Martinez. Feel free to call in and wish her well.
The word of the week is bureaucracy. BUREAUCRACY. It means a system of government in which most of the important decisions are made by state officials rather than by elected representatives or excessively complicated administrative procedures.
All that and more coming your way this Wednesday from 4 to 5 p.m. right here on Radio Cayman 89.9 FM. U-Flex, a program for all people by young people. U-Flex, more than talk.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The official website for COVID-19 communications has been updated with new information regarding Phase 4 of the Cayman Islands reopening plan. Premier, the Honourable Wayne Panton.
I strongly encourage the public to utilize the exploregov.ky website as the official source of information, resources and guidance as we make this transition.
Some updates include travel procedures for minors coming from countries where they may only receive one dose of the vaccine, traveler categories on which persons may travel to the Cayman Islands unvaccinated, and an outline of Travel Cayman's processes that will apply in Phase 4. Cayman is set to reopen on November 20th. Turning to international news now, the United States has reopened its borders to vaccinated international travelers, ending a 20-month travel ban at the same moment Europe is battling a surge of COVID-19 cases that has pushed the continent back into the epicenter of the pandemic. Fully vaccinated travelers from 33 countries, including the United Kingdom and much of Europe, can now enter the U.S. without needing to quarantine, provided they have proof of vaccination and a negative viral test. U.S. rapper Travis Scott is facing legal action after at least 8 people were killed and hundreds injured in a crush at his Texas festival, Astroworld. One injured concertgoer has accused Scott and surprised former Drake of inciting the crowd and is seeking $1 million in damages. Neither have commented on the lawsuit. In a statement following the crush, Scott said he was working to help the families of the victims, the youngest of whom was just 14. Those are your latest headlines here on Radio Cayman. I'm Shanna Gallego.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. My name is Art Connor and I'm filling in for Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Remaining in the studio with me, Miss Kim Voden, who's the director of the Sunrise Adult Training Center, along with her longtime employee, Miss Julie Wells Candler. We're talking about the 35th anniversary of the Sunrise Adult Training Center. But before we say any more, we do have a caller, and we're going to take that caller. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Yes, good afternoon, OC.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. And good afternoon, Miss Kim and Julie. This is Cresswell.
Good afternoon, sir.
First of all, I want to thank you all for being so gracious and accepting Wilma back at the center. You know, she was always under your supervision while she worked at the hotel, is it Ritz? Yeah, Ritz Carlton Hotel, and you know she became blind, and so it became a real burden for us because we're not chickens anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But we spoke to Miss Kim, and she graciously decided to take Wilma back at the center so that it could relieve us, at least give us a break of 3 days. And that has been a tremendous relief to us. So I want to thank her and Julie and all the staff for their graciousness. Wilma's also here with me, and I know she wants to say something. Just could you hold on, please?
Sure. Go right ahead.
Hi, Wilma.
Hi.
Hi, Wilma.
Lovely to hear your voice. We're so glad that you're with us at Sunrise.
Oh, okay. Can you?
Thank you, too.
Welcome.
You're
Thank you, too,
welcome.
Wilma. All the best.
Okay. Yeah, you too.
Okay, see you tomorrow.
Okay. See you tomorrow.
She's anxious to get back tomorrow.
We'll be looking to see her tomorrow. Thank you very much for the kind words, Mr. Cresswell, and I really appreciate your support as well, your family's support over the many years.
And my wife, she's off to Ireland for a month, so you know I need extra help. So your time, 3 days or 3 part days at the center is a great relief.
Thank you, sir.
Continue the great work.
Thank you very much.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Right. Goes to show you, how flexible you can be and how flexible that you have been in terms of your approach to those persons who need.
Mr. O.C., I think that it's so important to try to be client-centered as much as possible. My training and my early years of work as an occupational therapist and working from a client-centered perspective is one of the hallmarks or the fundamental aspects of our ethos or our way of working, trying to look at the the holistic picture and the family's needs. And I'm grateful for Mr. Cresswell calling in, but it also speaks, we've just been talking about the importance of inclusive employment, but really the Sunrise Centre functions in so many different aspects, and the provision of a day program where we're able to offer meaningful and purposeful activity and respite for families, and that aspect of even case management, assisting families to navigate sometimes a very convoluted system that involves hiccups with insurance or hiccups with healthcare or hiccups for applying for NAU or financial assistance. You know, like we are really a one-stop shop for our families, and we pride ourselves on trying to offer the best possible service in that regard. And hearing what Mr. Cresswell said really, you know, makes my heart full, because I also would love to obviously ensure that the 75 plus persons on the wait list, and as we look forward and project for the next 10 years, we foresee over 150 children graduating from Lighthouse School. Obviously, we want to ensure that those families receive equal and better service as the years go on, because we only aim to improve, you know. So
okay, now we're going to go on until 1:15, and my next guest is in the studio, so we'll commence that at 1:15. So we still have about 8 minutes. I'm going to share what the minister has released in terms of his statement about your anniversary, and then I want to give both of you an opportunity to cover anything that you haven't covered as well. So, Honorable Minister Andre Ebanks is quoted as saying, since its foundation 35 years ago, Sunrise Adult Training Center has played a significant role in the Cayman Islands, both in its delivery of services to clients and its advocacy on their behalf. Its director, Ms. Kimberly Voden, leads the center with enthusiasm, wisdom, and great compassion, and its staff are to be commended for their work and devotion. The center equips its clients with hugely important life skills to enable their functioning in wider society, in line with the recognition that such participation is vital for every human being. Likewise, the center provides the delivery of therapist services and vocational training in aid of the same objectives. At the same time, demand for Sunrise's services currently exceed its availability to accommodate all of its potential clients. Investment in the center's physical facilities is an urgent need and priority of this government. So they have the commitment from the minister, and his pointing out that it is a priority, to have a facility, a new facility for you as well.
I'd cheer on the radio, but then I would make a big pile of ruckus, so I shouldn't probably do that, but I'm grateful to hear those words. Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'll turn it over to Miss Julie for the penultimate delivery. You go ahead.
The what? Thank you for accepting us here. Say 35 years, and some people may think, well, that's a long time. Yes, it is a long time by number. And we have come a long way, but we got much further to go. As we came on, we got farther to go. We got much farther to go.
Yeah.
Yes.
To go when you come to accepting these clients out there in the community, and also for the government to pass the laws and whatever to accept in a way that's accepting the clients also. That's accepting those with those disabilities too. Sidewalks and whatever else, and buildings that they can access properly, So
even working towards making sure that our vulnerable clients are protected from exploitation, and also that their decisions and their ability to make decisions are respected as well. Like looking at competencies. You can have us back any day, Mr. Ossie, because there's lots to talk about for
I'm
sure.
Yeah. But I want to commend you, also Ms. Julie for your dedication and your work and your commitment.
Thank you.
As well.
100%, 1,000%.
Yeah. Cayman Islands owes a huge debt of gratitude for you for the work that you do, and also to you, Ms. Kim. So with those, I'll let you have the final words.
No, we're just so grateful, as Ms. Julie said, to have this chance to speak to you and to hear from the general public. And we just ask everybody to join with us as we celebrate our 35 years young, because we have lots more to come. So many dreams and plans for our future, for our guys to be recognized and included in every aspect of our life here in Cayman. Dreams that encompass bigger and better plays, more job opportunities for our guys. Who knows, maybe we'll run a ferry in the North Sound or run a helicopter company or something. The sky's the limit. So really anything is possible, and we're the little center that definitely can, the little center that will, and we just thank everybody for their support.
Okay, any contact details that we want to share with the public? Anyone, individual or organization that may have an interest in partnering with you?
As I said, our landline is 949-3330. My work cell is 938-3330. And you've mentioned our website.
Yes.
Do you want to read out the website tag on the top?
Okay.
You see it there?
Let me find out.
Sure. In the meantime, my email address is kimberly.voden@gov.ky. And we also have social media accounts, so you can find us on Facebook and you can find us on Instagram. And as I mentioned earlier, we are at 181 Powery Road. If all else fails, you can make the trek to beautiful Republic of West Bay and come and visit us in person. So
okay, and if you just Google the Sunrise Adult Training Center, our
new website pops up.
Right,
yeah.
And
it's linked to the main government ones, as far as I know.
Exactly,
so
yes,
you should be able to also find it through the gov.ky and then circulate out through to the departments.
Right, and your Gmail account is Sunrise Center at KY.
Let me just see. I don't know.
At gmail.com.
Gmail.com.
Yes. Sunrise Center KY at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Right.
So look forward to hearing from everyone. Again, thank you all for helping us to celebrate our 35 years.
And please support a worthy cause.
Looking for new partners.
Yeah.
Yes.
And keep your eyes on social media in the next few days, and on the general media. We definitely will be in there, and looking forward to being back on here with you, sir. Anytime
Certainly.
You'll have us.
Look forward to it as well.
All right.
Okay, folks, please stay tuned. When we return, we will have new guests in the studio. So Talk Today will be back shortly.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette, brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
As fate would have it, the early educational efforts of the islands were fostered on occasion by the arrival of shipwrecked seamen. The Sister Islands were no different, with the wreck of a mariner named Johnson, whose ship wrecked on Cayman Brac in 1863. Johnson would start a school which serviced not only children but adults too. In 1881, Jamaican Henry Hewitt set up the private school in State Bay, charging 9 pence per week. As education pursuits grew, it would be the Baptist Church which would lead the charge, given the growth of their congregations in the Sister Islands. Between 1896 and 1906, a large schoolhouse would be built in the chapel at the creek, along with State Bay and Little Cayman.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette, brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Call 949-7331 and ask about MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
FedEx Delivery. Share this season with everyone by shipping your rum cakes and gifts with 30% off and get an additional 20% on your next shipment. Visit us. Restrictions apply.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public could say.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. My name is Art Connor and I'm filling in for Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, and it is my pleasure to have in the studio with me now Miss Katina Anglin, and as you know, she is from the Christian Association for Civics and Political Education here in the Cayman Islands. Miss Anglin, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today.
Good afternoon.
I think this is the second time that I'm guest hosting, and you have been, on here as well. How are you?
I am good, OC, and how are you?
I'm fine. Thank you.
Good. Good afternoon, Cayman Islands. God bless you. So, I see that you had on some fabulous guests just before me.
Yes, and I am made to understand. It's good that you converse with people that you have also been assisting them, and your organization has been contributing as well. Tell us about that.
But I used to work at Sunrise Adult Training Center for some time back in around 2007 or so, and or 2004. Don't remember the exact dates right now. I do apologize.
That's
for
okay.
that.
That's okay.
And so I was very instrumental during my tenure there. But the Christian Association was assisting the Sunrise Adult Training Center last year during COVID-19, and as Ms. Voden confirmed to you, that we were contributing to their food aid program to make sure that the clients of the Sunrise Adult Training Center were getting as much food as they needed to. So that's just another way that we help out in the community.
Excellent. That is excellent and commendable as well. Really commendable. But I know that there are other things that you want to talk about today.
Yes,
and give our listening and viewing audience a sample of what we're going to be talking about.
Well, I'm going to talk about why hurting people hurt people, and then I'm going to look at the legal aid judgment, and I'm going to make a very, very brief comment on the intervention judgment, because the intervention judgment is a part of the judicial review, which is to be heard next month, 2nd and 3rd of December.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be appropriate for me to dig into that. But first, let me say good afternoon to Brother George Shillette out there in Bordentown, to Jacqueline from West Bay. Well, one of the Jacquelines from West Bay. To Miss Pauline, to Miss Charlene, to Carmen and to Marcia, and even to my own mother this afternoon. Good afternoon, good women. God bless you. So, we've all been through things in life, OC. And we all have the option if we survive those things, because some people don't survive the things that they've been exposed to. Many people die from domestic violence. Many people die from drug addiction. Many people die as a result of their own mental illness, schizophrenia, and so on. So those who are blessed and fortunate enough to survive the unfavorable events in their life have one of two options, and that is to use those events to help better the lives of other people, Or, unfortunately, some people never really learn to get over it. And they use psychologically, subconsciously, those events to abuse and tear down other people. So let me share something with you today that I haven't publicly shared before.
Mm-hmm.
And that is that I too, like many, many women in this country, and even right now, many young girls in this country were sexually abused. Even before I reached my first double-digit birthday. And the abuse went on until I was about 11 or 12 years old, until I was physically big enough to have some degree of confidence in my size to be able to say no. And my father was a very, very big man, and he was very strong. And I remember praying to God and wishing that my father would hurry and get back from sea. Because if my father came home, the abuse would stop. But my father was a seaman, and he was out there risking his life to be able to take care of me and contribute to my mother and his other children, and even to his own mother's care. And so my father wasn't there. And my brother, he's the most awesome person in this world. And I have other brothers as well, but the one that I am talking about, he just understands me so well. And my abuser used my love of my brother against me. And he used to tell me that if I told my brother would get upset and my brother would hurt him. And my brother would go to jail, and it would be my fault that my brother was in jail. So he used my brother's love of me and my love of my brother against me so he could continue to hurt me. And eventually I got strong enough. I think this is the first time I'm telling this story even without Michael Miles beside me, because
it takes a lot of courage to do so. It takes a lot, I must.
And Michael has been very instrumental in me overcoming the hurt and the anger that I've felt over the years because of this. But eventually I got to where I could say no and still continue to say no, even after the first no. My life didn't work out the way that I thought and that I hoped as a child that my life was going to go. I ended up on drugs, and my drug addiction lasted for decades. But even during my drug addiction, I used to try to take care of other women in my company who were drug addicts also. Because for however long that I was able to assist them, at least for that period of time, they weren't being abused. After I got saved, well, not got saved, after I submitted my will to God, because the truth of the matter is, O.C., you can call on God 10,000 times to save you, and each time He is willing to forgive you. But until you submit your will to God, you can always be falling back into the same pit that He just saved you out of.
It has to be voluntary.
His hands aren't that short that He can't keep reaching down to take you out. The thing is, if you don't submit your will to Him so that He can do with you what He needs to do with you, you're just, being rescued to fall in, being rescued to fall in, being rescued to fall back in, And on submitting my will to God, my life, its trajectory, the way that I thought, everything took a upward trajectory. And one of the things that I began to do was I began to intervene in abusive situations. And I also started to go through Youth Act, the Youth Anti-Crime Trust, to the schools, and I would deliver. Mr. Miles did the majority of the delivery through a PowerPoint presentation and stuff. Mm-hmm. And then I would introduce myself so that they were actually able to see this living, breathing human being.
And give testimonials, yes, okay.
And I also started to intervene through a ministry that I have, Faith Over Fear. Because a lot of women become so abused that they don't know how to say no. They start to believe that if they say no and if they stand up, their whole life is going to come crashing down around them, because they have been told repeatedly that they're no good and they can't make it and they're never going to be no good and all the rest of it that comes with it, right? And I began to lend my bad experience towards making things better for other people, in particular for women. But not all women who have lived through sexual abuse do as I have done. And I'm not saying that to criticize anybody. I'm saying that because I want people to understand that when you are doing good, people are going to reward you mostly with evil. They're going to attack you and try to tear down everything, especially if they are hurting too. Because hurting people hurt people. And the only thing that really helps hurting people is when they submit their will to God so that God can do what they want to do with them. And when they use what has been hurting them positively, because don't repay evil with evil. But with good, because good overcomes evil. And so I said all of that today to say this, that the people who are out there trying to tear me down, I assure you that you can't. You can't because, one, I've been redeemed from all of these things. Two, because God is my shield, my rock, and my fortress. No weapon formed against me can prosper. And every lying tongue I will condemn. Simply because that is my inheritance as a servant of the Lord. And anyone who is hurting because of abuse in their childhood, I encourage you, get help and be good to others. That's the two ways. Your help comes from the Lord first and foremost, and be good to other people. And I just want to start to show off with that today. Because like I just said, Ossie, no weapon formed against me is ever going to prosper.
Okay. That's a good point for us to take a commercial break. Folks, when we return, the conversation with Miss Katina Anglin will continue, so please stay tuned.
We may be in Christmas shopping mode, but 'tis the flu season too. Savannah Pharmacy has immune system boosters for the entire family with a range of vitamins and supplements. Their knowledgeable and courteous pharmacists are always available to offer the best advice and products. Remember, they are always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
A friendly holiday reminder. You can WhatsApp your Savannah Pharmacy prescription to 929-5045. That's 929-5045.
Are you planning a social, an office party, or event over the holiday season? Make the most of your holiday party and leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway Box to Go, with the option of a 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. Cater your holiday parties with Subway. Visit subway.ky for menu options. Subway, eat fresh.
Had a look at those investment options yet? Too busy. Look at today. Workout, breakfast, take the kids to school, back-to-back meetings, take Pepper to the vet, and she's apparently got allergies now, so... And that was all before 12. But you look relaxed. That's because my money's as busy as you.
With RF, you can access the best in local and international investments to keep your money busy, so you can spend more time focusing on you. Contact us at rfgroup.com to find out more. RF, money at work.
20 years.
Remember when Crew Road had no median and Linford Pearson was only 2 lanes?
We do.
When Dirty Reeds was down the street?
We do.
We have been there for the falls, the growth, and the rise. When your body and mind needed to change, Powerhouse Gym has been here. We've skated with you. Your first date, your daughter's first time on skates, your son's first strike. From football to squash, to karate and hockey, to bowling and concerts, and everything in between.
For 20 years.
So much has changed, some for the good and some not so much. Through it all, King Sports Center has been here for you, for Cayman.
King Sports Center, celebrating 20 years as Cayman's home for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
As the community continues to take precautions from COVID-19, it is important to stay prepared for other disasters now that we're in the hurricane season. Here are some post-hurricane safety tips from the Department of Environmental Health. Cistern water designated for the purposes of drinking, cooking, and bathing must be disinfected before use after a hurricane. Simply leave the water for 1 minute after it begins to boil, or to disinfect with bleach, add 3 ounces of chlorine bleach to every 1,000 gallons of water. A residual bleach smell is an indicator that the water has been properly disinfected. For full guidance on post-hurricane safety tips, visit www.deh.gov.ky. Each Tuesday and Thursday from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m.
The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Optical Outlook. Visit them at their new location in Anderson Square. Telephone 746-2020. Come see the difference with Optical Outlook.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Are we taking any calls? Good afternoon and welcome back to For the Record. It's my pleasure to have in this. Sorry, talk today. I fell asleep there.
Occupational hazard, eh?
Yep. Welcome back to Talk Today. My name is Art Connor, filling in for Sterling Dwayne Banks. And it is my pleasure to have in the studio with me Miss Katina Anglin, who is the Public Relations Officer for the Christian Association for Civics and Political Education here in the Cayman Islands. We're going to be talking about a few things, including some aspects of a judgment. She won't go too deep into that until a ruling has actually been made, as well as other issues she will be discussing. So I'm going to throw the mic back over to you, Ms. Katina.
Thank you very much, O.C. Before I move on to the 2 judgments, let me just say this. Just now I spoke about hurting people hurt people, right? What can we as a country do for hurting people who hurt people? Well, I can tell you something. If you ask my mother, what saved me, she's going to tell you prayer. Because she was praying all night. And she did that for years. She did that for decades. And one day her prayer was answered. So if there's anybody out there who wondering what they can or should do, please pray. We need a lot of prayer in this country and over this country. And this is a nation of Christian values, not just in the preamble, but in Article 1 of the Constitution. Whether or not I choose to take legal action against anybody who is defaming me is a decision I will make at some point, you know. But I can't afford to be distracted at this time because I have a lot of things to get done, you know, and I don't need to add more onto my plate if I can leave it off the plate for
you gotta stay
for a while,
focused,
right? Exactly. So with that, then let me turn my attention to the recent intervention hearing at the courts. And this was an intervention by Colors Caribbean into the judicial review that I have been granted legal aid to pursue to determine whether or not the governor's act in passing the civil partnership law, whether that itself was lawful or unlawful. But I won't dwell too much on this or dig too deep into this, what I'm about to say, because the intervention is a part of the judicial review, and the judicial review is to be heard on the 2nd and 3rd of December. So I want as an officer of the court and as a part of the proceedings, and with all respect to the whole judicial system and the people of the Cayman Islands, I don't want to cross over into swaying the public one way or the other or commenting too much on it. So I will just make it very brief in that there's public perception because of a particular way that reporting has been done on this. And when I say reporting, I don't mean the court reports. I mean reporting on the judgments themselves by certain entities that choose to call themselves journalists but are actually lobbyist groups. And it says, you know, the perception that's being put out there and the analysis of the case is that I lost the intervention hearing. I did no such thing. I never objected to the intervention, so I couldn't lose it. What I did object to was the form of intervention, because I only have 2 days to make a huge argument on constitutional and legal aspects of the passage of the Civil Partnership Act.
Okay.
I wanted the intervention to be done in written form only. The judge has said, no, I want to hear. I also want to hear, and he has a right to hear the arguments.
But that will all be encompassed in that 2-day window that you have.
Yes, and so he gave them only an hour to make their submissions before the court. So I just want to dispel that impression that has been put in the public that I lost, because I didn't object to the intervention, but I tried to protect the timing before the court. So, well, we'll see. You know, this has already been very productive for me because I dispelled a rumor from last year that said that I had collected money from my NPO and never fed the hungry. And then I had the incredible arrangement by God that one institution, one of many institutions that I helped last year through my association, actually was able to verify to you that we contributed. Yes. I dispelled this thing that people can think that they can tear me down in the country. Now, I'm not inviting the devil to a battle. I know better than to do that, right? Because even Archangel Michael said to Satan, he said, listen, the Lord rebuke you. I'm not inviting the devil in a battle, but I can set it out there because I have the right to speak and to be heard, right? And to defend myself by any means necessary. And I have chosen this forum today to do so.
Sure.
And then to dispel the not so correct reporting of the intervention judgment. So let me move on to another thing, and then when I leave from this studio in 5 minutes' time, I would have mastered the 4 things I came here. Well, I came here for 3, and I got 1 bonus. That was the Sunrise Adult Training thing, right? So the legal aid judgment. First off, let's get it straight. The reason why I was granted legal aid is because my case has merit. You won't get a hearing in court if it has no merit, and you can't get a legal aid grant if your argument doesn't have merit. So I am not wasting public funds. But the argument was, the reason for the legal aid was, is the act of the governor lawful or unlawful? If he hadn't passed that, I wouldn't be in front of the court. All right? So let's just displace this foolish ideology that is abounding in this country, that citizens shouldn't hold public officials accountable, and that our public money shouldn't be used to hold public officials accountable, and that our voices as citizens should be silenced through withdrawal of financial support to hold public citizens accountable. Listen, you do those three things, and we are marching in a dictatorship, in communism, when you cannot hold public officials accountable, and when government manipulates the situation in such a way that you can't. You're not living in democracy. You're living in dictatorship, communism, totalitarianism, whatever the title you want to use, but you're certainly not in participatory democracy.
And you're certainly going down a slippery slope when you allow the situation where you're not able to challenge, public officials.
Thank you very much. As a matter of fact, what we need to have in this country, OC, is a constitutional court. If a citizen's rights are being violated by the government, the Constitution protects you from violation of the government. Why should a citizen have to pay to have their rights enforced when having your rights enforced is provided for you in the Constitution? But if you can't afford to fund it, or you could, listen, I doing article clerkship, and I'm meeting up with a very, very precarious set of people in this sense. They're too poor to pay their legal fees, but they're just one little bit too rich to qualify for legal aid. How do they get their rights if they have a constitutional challenge and they fall into that bracket? All right? So we need to have a constitutional court. Just like how you see ECHR set up. If it makes it past the chamber, you have a hearing. But it's funded by the government, and that will also help encourage the government to act in accordance with the Constitution, because you got to foot the bills, one, and two, you have to pay for that wrongful act against the people. Yeah. Listen, you get enough of that, they're going to say, check the Constitution before you make the decision. All right? Now, the judge who was dealing with the case, with the legal aid hearing. This is not about whether or not I think that the judgment was right or wrong. That's not what I'm dealing with. What I am dealing with is a misperception that's been put out to the people, that somehow or the other, I don't know how they managed to misinterpret the judgment, because I can read it for you, all right? That somehow or another, I had misappropriated funds or intermingled my own funds with the account. That's not what the judgment is saying.
Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to take a commercial break. I'm going to let you read that, and because we're going to have you go on until at least 2 o'clock. With us. So not a problem. Folks, please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
Savannah Pharmacy. Shop local and get a head start on your Christmas shopping. For ladies' handbags, clothes, shoes, fragrance, candles, and cosmetics with the newest Farmhouse Fresh line of skincare. For the gentlemen, clothes, shoes, fragrances, gift sets, and toys and games for the kids. Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they are always just around the corner with everything your family needs. And convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
A friendly holiday reminder. You can WhatsApp your Savannah Pharmacy prescription to 929-5045. That's 929-5045.
At Subway, we caramel a lot about our customers, so we decided to give you 2 treats in one with the new Caramel Apple Cookie. Enjoy cinnamon apples, caramel bits, and salted caramel crunch baked in, and topped with a drizzle of caramel-flavored icing. Gooey, crunchy, and yummy. Complete your Subway sandwich, pizza, or salad with the delicious Caramel Apple Cookie or any other cookie flavor and dessert, available for a limited time at all Subway locations. Subway, eat fresh.
Dreaming of a great career or degree? The Caribbean Examinations Council offers regionally and internationally recognized qualifications to help you get there. These include the Caribbean Certificate of Secondary Level Competence, CCSLC, the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, CSEC, the Caribbean Vocational Qualification, CVQ, Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, CAPE, and the CXC Associate Degree. These exams may be done while in school or out of school at private learning institutions. Visit cxc.org to learn more. With CXC, you're in control.
FedEx Delivery. Share this season with everyone by shipping your rum cakes and gifts with 30% off and get an additional 20% on your next shipment. Visit us. Restrictions apply.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments November 8th to the 20th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles or have any skin disorders and skin cancers, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.portercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That's 946-9020.
Study local and go far this spring. Want to start your bachelor's or associate degree or just need a few classes to complete? Registration is now open for spring classes at UCCI. Scholarships are available for the spring semester, but you need to act now to meet the deadlines. Visit www.ucci.edu.ky to enroll now. Classes begin January 10th. Enroll by December 1st for a chance to win an iPad or a laptop.
It's the International Men's Day Island-wide sales event on Friday, November 19. Enjoy awesome savings and amazing deals from your favorite stores and service providers. Honor the positive contributions of men and boys while supporting local businesses in-store and online. Offers so incredible, you'll get something for the entire family. International Men's Day Island-wide sales event on Friday, November 19. Brought to you by the Family Resource Center and endorsed by the Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce. Check out FRC's social media for a list of participating stores.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me to talk today. I keep, thank you, Paul, for that. Talk today, folks. Talk today, talk today. It's my pleasure to have in the studio with me Miss Katina Anglin. Miss Katina, I want to share this WhatsApp message that I received from one of our listeners, and it says, wow, such a healing that Katina is releasing and showing our people that it is okay to share in order to heal. Only until the stigma is removed from victim blaming children will we as a country be able to move forward to embrace all victims of sexual abuse, and they can finally come to healing and stop hurting. So I want to thank that writer, that listener for that as well.
Amen. Thank you. And they're absolutely right. Children so often, and I've dealt with a lot of children, I've dealt with a lot of young females young adult females who, and the story is always the same, and it was something that I feared as well, was that I was going to get the blame.
Mm-hmm.
And when you listen to them talk, and they, you know, the comments that family members have, you know, whipped them, lashed them with, and put the blame on them, when an adult superior in size and stature and mentality is the abuser, and then you make the child to feel that it's all their fault what abuse happened to them.
Yes.
And if we don't get past stigmatizing victims of sexual abuse, we'll never blossom as a society. We need to admit that it happened and that it is happening, and then we can take a more proactive approach towards it not happening on the scale that it is happening at. Because it's rampant in our society.
Yes, yes.
And we need to admit it and start dealing with it. That way government can spend money instead of talking about who need to be vaccinated next. I hear they got 82.7% now, so it must be going to stop the push for the vaccinations now. But anyway,
Well, that's another story.
That's another story
okay.
for another day that we're going to be dealing with next time when I come on, so they can line up whoever they want to line up to call in.
They probably line me up on that one as well.
Well, that's okay. You free to come sit down here. Okay? But anyway, getting back to the legal aid judgment. When the judge referred to the intermingling of funds in his judgment, what he was referring to was one account receiving money for more than one purpose. All right?
Okay.
It's not, that I was taking my personal own money and putting in there or anything of the sort, that I wasn't that type of intermingling that is being referred to. But the fundamental error that I made in preparing the records to legal aid was that I did not give them a broad enough scope of the account.
Okay.
I only focused on the period at which funds were being donated. And it is very understandable for the director to take the approach that he took, because in the statements that I printed off and gave to them, there's this balance in this account.
Mm-hmm.
So they're under the impression that this account will open up for the purpose of receiving these funds. So if there's a balance in the account, the balance belongs to legal aid. That is a totally irrational decision to come to, except the account wasn't open for that purpose. The account had been opened back in, the process started in February and the account was opened in March.
Okay.
It had a balance in the account when funds first started to be contributed to the legal aid fund. Right? So after paying legal aid, there still was a balance. And that, now that records are being compiled according to the judge's directions, they'll see that then. And then she's still within her right whether or not to discard my personal funds. Right? Let me just take the time right now to say this, OC. From the time I started with this, I said to the public, I said, listen, even if I was a millionaire, this is not my bill to pay now. The question is, did the governor pass a law that was unlawful, which bound the country? It's a constitutional challenge on a legal point. It's not my bill to pay. He didn't hit my car and drive off and refuse to pay me damages for my car. He didn't defame me. There's no real personal and private element to this. This is public importance and public interest. And the judgment itself says this, right? What he did go on to say at paragraph 36 is that unless I give back the donations, right? And this is with the assumption now that this balance in this account belongs to legal aid. Unless I give those back, they are to be considered part of the income.
Okay.
And that income should go towards legal aid.
Okay.
And what he said was this. He said, it would be wrong for her to have access to such funds if they exist and retain them in the Christian Association account rather than contributing those funds as intended by the donors to the public-funded legal aid fund. But he never said that why I did. Now, this is being presented to the public as though this is what I have done. But that's not what I have done. All right? And the records will prove that that's not what I have done. He goes on in paragraph 37 to say, I respectfully suggest that the director be invited to further review the contribution condition ordered on 25th of May 2021. However, if such a review is to be conducted meaningfully, the director would understandably require a full and frank accounting of the funds in the CACP bank account, especially if it's being contended by Ms. Anglin that some of those funds were not donations toward her legal aid costs. And they were not, because some of the funds actually say education, some say general purpose. All right? Now, it is a shame that when somebody represents themselves to the public as a journalist, and a part of the journalistic pledge is to seek truth and report it, and then you have a judgment from the Grand Court of the Cayman Islands Civil Division, and you go on your radio show and you misconstrue the judgment and throw your unwarranted opinion into it and then try to tarnish my reputation with a judgment from the Grand Court of the Cayman Islands. And you can't tell the truth about that either. Now, see, anybody who wants a copy of this judgment, this is a public document. And I'm going to ask him.
Does your organization have a website that you can put it up on there as well?
I'm going to get it put up hopefully by the end of this week. And then whatever the next finding of the Director of Legal Aid is, because she has the power under Section 19.4 to disregard my disposable income and say, no, this case is of such great public interest that I'm not going to consider her disposable income. And so then we have that constitutional court type of approach to things, right? Or she can look at it and she can say, yes, great, massive public interest importance, but I'm still going to keep this contribution order against her. That's wholly and solely at the director's discretion.
This is, when you speak of the director, now you're talking about the director
of legal aid.
Legal aid.
Yes. Okay. All right. So I have to provide to them, which is being provided, will be signed off by the treasurer for the Christian Association, and we're also going to have an accountant look at it as well. As a judge called it, full and frank disclosure. So it'll start with documentation for opening the account opening and its opening balance, and then everything flowing from there on out.
In terms of deposits that have been made to it, dates and by home and whatever. Okay.
If I
can't ask for anything more transparent than that.
I tell you, if I had not taken such a narrow approach to it and looking just solely and giving account of the donations that had come in specifically for that purpose, but I had in hindsight, which is great sight, if I had printed off 2020, whole records in 2020 and said, here you go, and this is the period to focus on, we wouldn't be here.
We wouldn't, okay.
Right?
Got you.
But that's where I made the fundamental error, and for that I do apologize.
Okay.
But we live and we learn. And one of these days I'm going to be perfect, but not while I'm here on earth. Christ can continue to do his refining work in me so that when I appear before God, he can say, without spot or blemish, well done, my good and faithful servant.
Okay.
Cayman Islands, God bless you and keep you. Remember that we are a nation of Christian values. And even those who do not know Christ as their Lord and Savior, he accepts everybody. He has no discrimination, and I assure you, you not done nothing so wrong that he not willing to forgive you for it. So let Christ be your Savior. In Jesus' name, amen. God bless you.
And same to you as well. And in the Portuguese freedom fighters, the natives, the Africans in the Portuguese colonies, they had a saying in Portuguese, a luta continua, the struggle
continues. And I can assure
Folks,
you it's real.
We still have a half an hour left. When we return, we will have open line for you on Talk Today. Talk Today, folks, not for the record. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
The Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
There's the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The Department of Environmental Health is collecting household appliances, furniture, and yard waste now through November 13th for the District of Georgetown. Residents in the Georgetown District are encouraged to separate metals and vegetative waste and place the waste on the curbside. The bulk waste collection is for items not handled by normal DEH residential garbage collection. For additional information, you can call 949-6696 or send an email to dehcustomerservice@gov.ky. In international news, the U.S. lifted restrictions Monday on travel from a long list of countries, including Mexico, Canada, and most of Europe, setting the stage for emotional reunions nearly 2 years in the making and providing a boost for the airline and tourism industries decimated by the pandemic. The rules that go into effect Monday allow air travel from a series of countries from which it has been restricted since the early days of the pandemic, as long as the traveler has proof of vaccination and a negative COVID-19 test. Those crossing land borders from Mexico or Canada will require proof of vaccination, but no test. Pfizer is expected to seek U.S. Food and Drug Administration emergency use authorization of a coronavirus vaccine booster shot for people 18 and older, a Biden administration official said Monday. The request could come as soon as this week, although the date could shift. The expected EUA request was first reported by the Washington Post. Authorization would bring the country one step closer to U.S. President Joe Biden's mid-August prediction that boosters would be available for all adults in the United States. Those are your latest headlines here on Radio Cayman. I'm Shanna Gallego.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. My name is Art Connor, filling in for Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. We have an open line for you now, our toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call on 949-8037, 949-6990. WhatsApp us, 925-3261. Want to share with you government notice in relation to the moment of silence, and you will hear it here on Radio Cayman's bulletin board as well. For a moment of silence to precede Remembrance Day, the Cayman Islands government invites persons and organizations across the islands to join in a moment of silence. And you heard Miss Melanie Sims on For the Record this morning speak to it as well. So their government is inviting persons and organizations across the islands to join in a moment of silence at 11 o'clock on Thursday, the 11th of November. So it's going to be the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, right? The brief observation will be commemorating those, or will commemorate those in the uniformed services who lost their lives in battle. Also, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, this year's Remembrance Day ceremony on the 14th of November takes the form of a private wreath-laying ceremony without the usual contingents on parade. His Excellency The acting governor, Mr. Franz Manderson, will lead the laying of wreaths at the cenotaph at Emsley Memorial Church and at the Siemens Memorial nearby. District Administration Minister Honorable Juliana O'Connor Connolly will lead a brief private ceremony on Cayman Brac. Individuals may lay their own wreaths on both islands from 11:30 a.m. onwards. In addition to streaming live, the CI Government, Cayman Islands Government YouTube channel coverage will be available on government channels after the event also. The Protocol Office is also inviting members of the public to share memories of their personal wreath laying with the wider community by tagging the Cayman Islands Protocol Facebook page and using the hashtag REMSunday, REMSUNDAY 2021. And they also want to let you know that there's still time for members of the public to contribute to the Cayman Islands Veterans Association Poppy Appeal. Donation bins are placed at the Government Administration Building, also District Administration Building, and across the Cayman Islands as well. So if you want to donate to the Poppy Appeal, please do so as well. We do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Hi, Mr. Connor. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Okay, I'm good. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
Calling to seek some unbiased opinion on the vaccine. So, as we are aware, our government, they met and they approved some amendments to the bill requiring work permit holders to be vaccinated, correct?
Right.
But it seems like a number of organizations, they themselves has met and gazetted a new law that everyone is required to be vaccinated, because I'm being told by a number of Caymanians that they refuse employment because they're not vaccinated.
This is in the private sector?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And considering the facts, there's a great economist, Thomas Sowell. He said people who have made up their minds and don't want to be confused by the facts are a danger to the whole society. The facts show us that being vaccinated does not prevent the patient from contracting or spreading the disease. So what's the significant difference in hiring people who aren't vaccinated or not vaccinated? I mean, I think it's quite silly at this point. It's not like the polio or chickenpox disease where the vaccination actually eliminated the viruses. So we know that we can't get polio, we can't get chickenpox, but the fact remains that with the experimental COVID-19 vaccine, we are still contracting and spreading the disease. So,
don't you give any credence whatsoever to the claim that is also made that if you are vaccinated, then it reduces the impact of the COVID-19 if you do contract it, that the severity of it is lessened?
The severity on myself, not necessarily the general public, and it still doesn't prevent me from spreading the disease.
Right. But the first plea really is for you to protect yourself, and by protecting yourself, there are knock-on effects to that as well. So while I understand what you're saying, and it is true, you're not saying anything that is false, that the vaccine does not prevent you from getting COVID. It doesn't prevent you from spreading it as well. But there is also that additional claim that it reduces the impact of it if you do contract it.
Yeah, maybe they should remove the liability clause for the companies and see how long we'll be getting the vaccines, correct?
Yeah, but I would say, I mean, there are still some countries where we see like 23% of the total population vaccinated, 30-something percent. But we have a huge majority of the world's population that is also vaccinated as well.
Yeah. And again, I don't want to be labeled as an anti-vaxxer. I think we should look on the facts sometimes. The facts. Are facts obsolete? That's the question that Thomas Sowell asks. So thank you for your time.
Before you go, though, the pill that is being developed, that has been developed and has gone through the trial stage, would, if that comes into existence, would that make any difference? Of course, that will only, you would only take that if you have contracted COVID. But would you have a opinion on that, whether or not if you contracted COVID, whether you would take it?
I think just on a general response, I think persons still have that decision to make for themselves, you know. For me, I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but generally, again, as I stated, that's an individual decision because we, in this decade, we have aggrandized the personal choice, the individual. So I'm not sure why now the individual don't have a say in what goes into their body. You know, we tell individuals that you could cohabitate and marry whoever you want. So why can't I have a decision on what I want to go in my body from what I don't want to go in my body? You understand?
Yeah, and that is why some countries, and we heard the governor say here that the government is not going to mandate vaccinations for Caymanians and residents. He has said that. But I believe that we have an overriding obligation that if we allow persons to come here as our guests to work, that we have the right to impose certain conditions on them.
Yes, I understand. I understand that. But are the organizations on the island imposing conditions, unrealistic conditions on Caymanians?
Yeah. And we see other jurisdictions now where it's being challenged as well. In Jamaica, I think there are a few court cases that are going through the system now in terms of those in the private sector who are requiring staff to do certain things. So it'll be interesting to see where those swing. I want to thank you very much for that. Very, very intriguing, and please stay safe as well.
Okay, you too.
Okay. Let's grab another call before we go to a commercial break. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Hey, good afternoon to you, OC.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good, How you doing, sir?
I'm fine, thanks.
Thank you. I'm calling because I just listened to your last call, and I appreciate everything that he just shared, and certainly concur about the thoughts on the companies and their approach to hiring, specifically when it's dealing with Caymanians and the whole idea around vaccination. However, he went on to say something about the vaccines, and he did ask a question about the purpose of them. And you started to speak about the individual decision, but I've heard that said quite often. That is that whole concept that the vaccine does nothing, for example, to lowering the spreading of the virus. And I was busting my head for a second there trying to remember the two studies that I came across, and recent studies as well, that is showing a whole different picture. And so my understanding is that indeed the vaccinated person is not that they can't catch it, obviously, and not that they can't pass it, but that it greatly reduces, in both cases, for the vaccinated to not catch it and to also spread it. It's much more difficult. And it was described, I remember this particular thing that I saw with this doctor, and she described it this way, and it was really simple, and I thought the lay person could understand this. She said, obviously the whole concept of vaccinations is that there's an introduction to the body of whatever it is that they're introducing. In this case, it's coronavirus. So there is some semblance in the case of the Pfizer and the Moderna, when I know it has to do with causing the spike protein to increase. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm trying to use a layman term. She described it this way. She said, if the vaccinated person is exposed to the virus, they've been vaccinated, and their body's been exposed to it, it goes about building up antibodies and the whole nine, and stores, and it has a great memory, which is what vaccines does, including the polio one that he talked about and the other one. The body remembers that particular pathway of this particular virus that it's dealing with. And she said when they're exposed, when a vaccinated person is exposed, depending on the viral load, that is, depending on how much they've inhaled at the particular time, whether they're with a particular person that's been positive for a while, depending on how much that exposure is. And in the case, let's just say it's 100% that they're exposed to. He says the body then immediately goes into, because it's now recognizes that it goes into this fighter mode. And let's say that it only captures 75%, and I'm using with the word captured loosely, but
sure.
It captures 75%, and 25% of that virus then continues to replicate. So in that case, she said already you can see then that the vaccinated person has a fighting chance because it's only been exposed to 25% of the virus.
Right, 1/4 of it as opposed to 100% of it. Yes,
as opposed to 100%.
Yeah.
And then she goes on. She said, then the body. She says, then here's the kicker. She says the person who's vaccinated, because it has the build-up and antibodies, and the body then goes into another fighting mode. So, okay, we're going to, we know how to continue to fight you. And this is using her words, and she was trying to get really layman term. She says, in the end then, you can see then how a vaccinated person has a much, as we just mentioned, fighting chance of the body recuperating and getting over the particular virus versus, and then she went on to say, versus now if you were unvaccinated and you are exposed to the virus, it's the first time your body is being introduced to that particular virus. So now it has no basis from which to go from but the body's natural sort of defense mechanism. And let me just pause right there before I go any further. If our body's natural mechanism could fight all viruses, then simple things like, and it's not simple if you're asking a medical doctor, but simple things like, for example, the gonorrhea, a sexually transmitted disease, or some of these smaller ones, if you can contract those particular things and don't get a shot in your behind to help the body get over it, there's just some things that the body can't naturally fight. And it's a proven case that while a great many people go asymptomatic, they don't have any symptoms, and that there is a huge recovery rate for those who are with COVID, there is a huge chance, it's almost like Russian roulette, that you may be one of those that it isn't. But far beyond you, which is why also you take the vaccine, as you were alluding to, you do it for other people who you may be around. If we talk about viral load that I just talked about.
Very quickly, call I'm way beyond my commercial break, and I got another call on hold.
So I'll roll up and just say that's kind of my understanding that indeed it does help to slow transmission and does help to slow the person from getting gravely ill.
So true. Thank you very much for that as well. Very true in terms of what you say. Folks, we're going to take a last commercial break. I do have a caller on hold. We'll take that call as soon as we return. Please stay tuned. Talk Today. We'll be back shortly.
We may be in Christmas shopping mode, but 'tis the flu season too. Savannah Pharmacy has immune system boosters for the entire family with a range of vitamins and supplements. Their knowledgeable and courteous pharmacists are always available to offer the best advice and products. Remember, they are always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
A friendly holiday reminder. You can WhatsApp your Savannah Pharmacy prescription to 929-5045. That's 929-5045.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands. The ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom. The land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a non-for-profit member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. Chamber Pension has an all-in expense ratio of 0.72% over 16,000 members, $430 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s, and today we are still strong, secure, and are here for employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or request further information, visit chamberpension.ky, and for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Talk Today. We're on the last leg of the show this morning, and it's been a pleasure filling in for Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good afternoon. Welcome to Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Ossie. Billy Simamba here.
Hey, good afternoon, Billy. How are you doing?
Good, thanks. I couldn't get you in the morning. I said, well, I'll get him. I'll get a second bite at him in the afternoon.
Okay.
Yes. Well. First of all, it was very nice of you to mention the old saying from the African freedom struggle, the Portuguese struggle in particular.
Yes.
The slogan "A luta continua." It takes me to my university days in the 70s when it was all going down in Mozambique with the brilliant African General Samora Machel.
Right.
And then, so it was very nice to hear that. But I wanted to touch on something that Katina was discussing.
Okay.
First of all, I think it is very good that she is taking this matter and that it can be resolved. I think it will be hard to. It is winnable, but hard to win in terms of the law and maybe also some practicalities. But I think we need it settled constitutionally.
Mm-hmm.
And she mentioned something about the need to establish a constitutional
court. Yes.
She was really right on that. They have it in South Africa and some other African countries as well as elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm going to interrupt you there for a second. And I had the pleasure at the Carter Center in Atlanta, Georgia, to meet Justice. I'm trying to remember his last name, but his first name is Algie. He lost part of his arm in a bombing in South Africa because he was a huge supporter of the ANC in Africa, and he was the president of the Constitutional Court in South Africa. I can't remember his last name.
Fax, I think last name is Fax.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. Yes,
I remember that well. They sent a letter bomb to him and all that. And
yes.
So on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's great, So yes, you see, a constitutional court. The beauty of it is that even if, for example, it is the Grand Court or even the Court of Appeal, which is violating the Constitution or an aspect of human rights, then you go to the Constitutional Court. And customary, the Constitutional Court don't sit like one judge. They would sit anywhere from 3, 5, 7, or even 9 because of the importance of the issue. So she was really right on about that. I think it should be given thought. It won't need too much stuff. I mean, the Court of Appeal at the moment works through. There is a clerk of the Court of Appeal who is local,
mm-hmm.
And the Court of Appeal comes in from time to time. So there is no need even to employ such a large number of staff. So that should be looked at.
Got you.
Now I know you are getting towards the end. Let me just slip in the issue.
Well, go. I'll check. I'll check with Paul and see if we have another call. If we don't have any other caller, we'll close the phone line off, and you'll get to talk until 29 minutes after 2. So another 4 minutes.
Well, thanks very much. It's very valuable.
Make up for this morning.
Yes. So you see, in my case, for example, because I ran into a particular problem because I was alleging that under Section 26 of the Cayman Constitution, I was alleging that my human rights, the right to a fair trial and to have a case decided within a reasonable time, was violated. And I was using Section 26 to claim that. And Section 26 says, if you claim that any of your fundamental rights are violated, then you should go to the Grand Court. But then do you see, I'm going to the very court that I am saying violated my rights. And the results have been really problematic because I went to the Court of Appeal, they said there's no problem here. Then I went to another judge, there's no problem here. It is because the same institution cannot supervise itself. So one of the ways to deal with that is to establish a constitutional court, because then you would go there and then there is more than one person dealing with it. They are a different court. Yes, they are judges, but they are a different court. And I think that would be very, very useful to have in Cayman. And I think her example, my example, like in terms of our cases, and there's few others which I can't get into right now, they show that such a court is necessary. You cannot have the same court supervising itself to find that actually they have violated the fundamental rights and freedoms. Okay, do I have 1 minute? I wanted to pick up on something also on which I spoke to you about on your show. This was about the AG and so on. I think you did push back on one little point, which was very right actually. Because the Attorney General is, when they give advice, they only give advice. They don't force people,
right?
They don't force that. And I think it was important.
Despite the fact that sometimes the same people who ignore the advice that they give, they have to turn around and then defend them later on.
I have been there also. They try to avoid you or they ignore your advice. Yeah. When they get sued, then they come back to you. They say, but you didn't clarify this, and so on. But the other thing I thought I should also emphasize is that there is a point at which as an Attorney General also, or anybody who is deciding a case, advising on a case or deciding a case in court, you have to be intellectually honest. You remember there was that Solicitor General some time back, Kurt de Freitas. He didn't stay long in case. Yes.
Yeah, he was from, was it one of the smaller overseas territories, St. Helena, I think he came from originally.
He was originally from. He was from St. Helena when he was AG, although he's originally Guyanese.
Yes.
But anyway, he left here to go and join the cabinet, which was headed by Michael Missick. And when Michael Missick was forced to resign from office, he couldn't hide. This is Kurt de Freitas couldn't hide behind saying, "Well, I was advising, but they were refusing," because at one point you have to say, "No. If you are going to ignore all my advice, I'm quitting." That's what you are supposed to do.
Okay.
So that there's just a little bit of a point there.
Okay.
Thanks,
good point.
I'll let you go. Thanks very much for the time. I really enjoyed these constitutional discussions. I hope that they can go on.
Yeah, but before you go, though, very quickly, you talk about the practicality of, whether or not Miss Anglin's case, whether she wins it or not. And does that practicality include the fact that we already have the decision that has been made by the governor, but not only that, we're hoping that soon we will also get a judgment from the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council in relation to the Day case, and if that is in their favor, then it may make what the governor has done a moot point.
Yes, I haven't gone into a lot of detail regarding that, but it is very relevant, yes, because even if that was not the direct point they were discussing, they may say some things which may have implications on the power of the governor. Because although they are talking really about the interpretation of the Constitution, but I think in the end, obliquely, there will be also the issue of the powers of the governor. So I would say that Katina should watch that very carefully, read it with her lawyers when it comes back, so that she can see whether it will be encouraging her to go forward or just to hold back. But the other practical thing, very quickly, is that you are fighting the governor here. You remember with the islanders there in the Pacific water, the Chagos Islanders.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yes.
They won it initially, but ultimately they lost it. Why? Because you are fighting the crown. And every time you fight the crown is a problem. I have the same problem. Katrina has the same problem. Of course, her case is more important than mine.
Uh-huh. Thank you very much, Billy. Good to hear from you. Look forward to hear from you some more on For the Record as well.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye-bye,
Okay. Folks, it's been a pleasure filling in for Sterling Dwayne Ebanks. And as he normally would say, be blessed. Take care.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including